Who does this?
Wait.
Fucking brawling stabbers, I hate this shit.
I'll give you that.
Derp. Derpity derp 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 derpity derp 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 derpity derp 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 derpity derp derp derp.
Fight me.
Derp 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 derp.
I'm almost starving to death.
That's the answer. Does this guy think I'm gonna brawl him? Because that's fair. That's a fair assumption to make. It's just,
Baby, brawl!
going No. I just want this guy to stop moving.
Just want that.
Fuck! I hope this guy doesn't like try to warp off like he's slick, because that would be pretty slick, and...
No, I'm pretty slick. I'm pretty.
Who are you?
Wait.
I can deal with this. Oh no, I can't deal with this.
You're gonna die.
Man, fucked up. Why am I not hitting him?
Turn on your invisibility shield!
I hate you.
About to get killed by a bunch of weaklings.
I fucked up. Why am I not hitting him? Oh, too spicy.
Project. Set course for getting shot by a bunch of running.
I don't think I've ever fucked up so bad in my life. Should've worked it further away. God damn it! I can only be mad at myself, and I'm fucking pissed. Motherfucker! Who does this? Fucking brawling stabbers, I hate this shit. Himself out. What the fuck? This is so lame. God damn it.
In this encounter, I'm in a stabber, reminiscent of the extra-large ancillary shield-boosted Rupture, with a slight variation and obvious differences, a fit that I told myself I wouldn't fly until after the stabber received its damage buff. However, curiosity and boredom got the best of me. I'd been pursued by these two pirate cruisers for a couple of systems, and knowing that I can't take both of them at the same time, I was trying to split them up between the gates. While doing so, a friendly Typhoon landed at distance. We're not on comms, but I know with the Typhoon on field, if he applies any damage, I can definitely use his distraction to burn down these targets. Turns out it's a Nano Typhoon with cruise missiles. And that might sound intimidating to some. Anybody who's tried to fit cruise missiles on a Typhoon knows the severe limitations of power grid and CPU. So I know the Typhoon cannot have much for tank and has no way of committing into this fight. So if we want to get kills, I have to commit. Stabber versus these two ships by itself is a death sentence, but with the Typhoon on field, I'm confident we can burn him down in time. Typhoon has to be applying what I can assume to be at least 500 DPS at this range, and I'm applying about 350. The Thorax and the Moa were split up at this moment, which is good for me. They're both brawling ships and could burn me down rather quickly, but a single ship by itself is easily overwhelmed by my massive shield boost, and what I can only assume to be demoralized at times, whereas I've been in the same situation before. Big disadvantage of the Stabber when going up against two ships that's different tank class is switching ammo types. Starting with the Thorax, I needed explosive, but going to the Moa, I obviously need EM. Burning towards the Moa, who I assumed was distracted due to multi-boxing, I was able to get a scram but decycled it by mistake. Luckily, he didn't realize this in time and I got it back on. At this point, the Moa has no chance. Not being on comms with the Typhoon, it was a little ominous. But there's definitely a warm feeling about having a battleship orbit you around 2,000 meters a second while applying damage from range. A little like a guardian angel. This was about 45 minutes earlier around the same area. The two same pilots were out in smaller ships, originally what kicked off the cruiser fight. A Core and a Garmer. I'm at a gate, so I'm confident in engaging the Core, whereas I know if I was anywhere else, the Garmer would kite me at 20 kilometers and slowly whittle me away. I don't give the Garmer the satisfaction of having any kind of fight whatsoever. However, the Core is a ship that I don't remember ever coming up against in a 1v1. I know his bonuses, and I know neuting him out is going to be difficult, so I overheat and stagger my small neuts to put as much cap pressure on him as possible, whereas I know he can feed off of mine indefinitely. Tracking on this is incredibly difficult. With tracking booster implied and tracking ammunition, I'm not getting any hits, and he's negating most of my drone damage. However, the overheated staggered neuts play their toll on him as he runs his armor wrappage just too much for his NOS to take care of. He starts to try and pull away and manages to pull out of my scram range, but it was too little too late. The Garmer comes back after clearing his gate gun aggro. Instead of making any kind of attempt to engage the Garmer, I simply recall my drones and tank him until my aggression is up. Out flying a Hurricane for the first time in a long time, I decided to warm up in one of the slower pipes, the pipes where people generally get desperate for fights. In this instance, 3 frigates warped in. To pretty much any Hurricane, this would not be an issue whatsoever. However, knowing that if they get a scram on me, I can be screwed, I burn away as fast as possible while trying to use my defensive web to the best of my abilities. Combined with my drones, luckily they were preoccupied with the drones, shooting them first, thinking they would be the only form of damage that could hit them. Realizing that I was holding range at about 20 kilometers, easily tracking them, I picked them off rather quickly. This fight being a warm-up led me with confidence. An unfortunate situation for me, but lucky for a friend. He warped in to collect the full amount of loyalty points from the beacon as I was too far away. His intentions were simply to help me with the fight, so no hard feelings. This encounter has been sped up rather dramatically, as anybody who knows shooting at a Brutix can take a long time. I assumed he would have been hull fit, so it didn't matter what ammo type I had loaded. Throughout the fight, I see him repping. I didn't realize this right away, but eventually, once I reached the end of my charges on my guns, I switch over to fusion. During that process, I start etching in 1 kilometer at a time ever so slowly, ensuring I could get maximum range while he still couldn't touch me. At the same time, keeping a very close eye on my defensive web, assuming he might try to slingshot me. Seeing that he is armor repair, and that he has blasters, while trying to manage his micro warp drive at the same time, I know that he's going to be under cap pressure eventually. He's also likely to burn out his propulsion mod in a desperate attempt to catch me or flee. With this in mind, I go ahead and decide to commit to the fight, etching in even closer. I make short work of any drones he launches by putting my drones on his, and the only damage he can really do to me is to my heart by destroying a few of my poor drones. I've only killed a handful of Brutixes in my time, and there's a good reason for that. They're good ships, but as you can see, they're vulnerable to being kited. My Hurricane is not specifically set up to do only kiting. It is where it's most comfortable. I would never want to go toe-to-toe against a Brutix in a Hurricane, even if I was a brawling fit. So many of them are hull fit that even if you have a neutralizer fitted, you can't do much to shut them down. But this could have been a rare example. Had I been brawly fit with a neutralizer, there was a small chance I could have won this fight. Some might feel bad for the Brutix getting kited out like this. Maybe I do too. But when you're passing through a system and a random Brutix starts out in local asking for a 1v1, it's a fight you kinda have to take. Don't let the magic of video editing fool you into thinking that I am some kind of professional pilot. I'm mediocre. It's true I probably get more kills than a lot of people in this area, but I owe that to one simple fact that anybody can obtain. The simple fact that I've lived here for so long. I feel pilots who move from corp to corp, region to region, often lose sight of what PvP is all about. They have to relearn everything. I know all the pipes, I know most of the targets, the pilots, tactics they use, where gate camps are going to be. It's as simple as that in all honesty. I also owe my success to a few good pilots. Watching Zarvox, watching Buzz, EvE is Easy, and an old pilot who I don't think plays the game anymore, Chakras. He was a Galente faction pilot that redefined the way I flew my ships. I do miss him.
Summer in the hills, those hazy days I do remember. We were running still, had the whole world at our feet, watching seasons